The Caribbean is a tropical paradise of green mountains, white sand beaches, and clear turquoise water. When traveling to the Caribbean, visitors soon discover that each island has its own special combination of natural beauty, culture, commercial development, and vacation activities. Hello, I'm Bill Van Arsdale. The islands featured in the Best of the Caribbean were selected for their friendliness, idyllic tropical atmosphere, and wide variety of cultures and activities. All are very different, and each provides a unique vacation experience. With the help of this video guide and its companion guidebook, you'll be able to find both the island and hotel or hideaway that are just right for you for a perfect vacation in the tropics. My good friend and fellow traveler, Kim Prince, will be your host. I wish you good traveling.
Welcome to the Best of the Caribbean. I'm Kim Prince, and I'll be your guide to 10 beautiful and very different tropical vacation islands. In alphabetical order, we'll tour Anguilla, a sleepy island untouched by the mainstream of tourists, the Caribbean as it was decades ago. Barbados, with its rich British heritage, beautiful beaches, and many touring activities. Cancun, a modern Mexican vacation playground near the spectacular ruins of the Yucatan. Cozumel, a scuba diver's paradise and the bargain of the Caribbean. Jamaica, with her popular North Coast vacation resorts at Montego Bay and Ocho Rios. Key West, home of Hemingway and hedonism, treasure ships and wild weekends. Martinique, very French and cosmopolitan, with colorful fishing villages and towering mountains. St. Bart's, until recently a well-kept secret, a charming French hideaway with the ambiance of the continent. St. John, the American hideaway with its many postcard-perfect beaches and laid-back lifestyle. And finally, the contrasting French and Dutch sectors of St. Martin. We'll begin exploring each island with an overview of its distinctive flavor. Next, we'll take a look at what there is to see and do, and then tour a broad range of accommodations. We wish you good traveling. Now let's begin our tour of the Best of the Caribbean. Anguilla is a tourist frontier. This flat, arid island, located just 8 miles from St. Martin, has been largely passed over by the mainstream of tourists. It retains much of the flavor of the Caribbean as it was decades ago. Some parts of the island have had electricity for less than 5 years. You can fly into Anguilla from St. Martin or take one of the swift ferries that leave the French side of St. Martin every 20 minutes. If you want to rent a car to tour Anguilla, you're first required to get a license at the police station in the valley, a 10-minute cab ride from the ferry. In Anguilla, where English is the main language, the pace is slow and the people are friendly. The press of tourism found on other islands gives way to a sense of privacy, of small-town hominess. The locals are still curious about visitors, and a quick smile and friendly wave are common sights as you tour the island. The beaches on the west side of the island are among the best in the Caribbean, especially at Long Bay, where there's more than a mile of beautiful white sand, and at Shoal Bay, where windsurfing and snorkel gear is available for rent. Here, the few small beachfront eateries like Happy Jack's are a perfect tropical setting for sipping an island drink and chatting with the local folks. There's not much in the way of touring in Anguilla. The one main road snakes through the middle of the island, passing a few small settlements of colorful houses. The many roadside stands are a welcome stop for snacks, drinks, and friendly island hospitality, usually from the owner. While tourism is on the upswing here, some Anguillans still depend on the centuries-old traditions of salt farming, which you can see as you drive by the Sandy Point salt grounds. The boat-building traditions introduced by Portuguese sailors centuries ago are still skillfully practiced throughout the island. Fishing is a very important part of the island economy. At Island Harbor, the fishing fleet brings in daily catches of reef fish and lobster. This bright array of handcrafted boats is a big part of the seafaring heritage of Anguilla. The sleek sailboats you'll see at Island Harbor are raced most Sundays, and much of the island turns out to watch and wager. The main town on the island is the Valley, a small collection of necessities stores that cluster around a broken traffic light that no one here paid much attention to even when it was working. Shopping is quite limited. There are a full range of accommodations, from small guest apartments to full resorts. One of our favorite spots is the Mariners, located at Sandy Point. These West Indies-style cottages with either garden or bay view are very comfortable and well appointed. The beach here is a long, quiet stretch that borders the main shipping dock. Their restaurant that overlooks the water is one of the best on the island. The Maliuana Hotel, rated tops among the best hotels anywhere, has combined an idyllic setting and dramatic architecture with five-star services. Seaside villas for up to 6 adults complement luxurious rooms and suites in the main hotel. There are 3 pools and tennis courts. Its restaurant, supervised by one of France's foremost chefs, is arguably the best in the Caribbean. The Cinnamon Reef Beach Club sits on a small beach on a private cove. "14 individual chalet suites with private patios cluster around a great hall. A large swimming pool and tennis courts complement the many beach activities. Shoal Bay Villas are right on one of the best beaches in Anguilla. These condos are nicely furnished and offer a more moderate option, though they are somewhat removed from the rest of the island. Cul-de-sac is a sprinkling of cottages set among sea grape on the rocky east coast. The well-appointed rooms offer privacy, and the service is most attentive. There's a pool and a small private beach tucked away in a sheltered cove. The restaurant here is also quite good. On the cliffs overlooking Sandy Point, Easy Corner Cottages is an example of the many less expensive housekeeping cottages and guest houses on Anguilla. Restaurants on Anguilla are mainly limited to the hotels, but for real island flavor that's inexpensive, there's Smitty's in Island Harbor and Island Institution, and the colorful aquarium on the main road near Sandy Point. Nightlife in Anguilla is definitely small island, where local bands appear at different spots each night. A visit to Anguilla is a step through time to the Caribbean as it was years ago. A simple, unspoiled island wilderness where you can easily find your own special spot in the sun. Barbados has it all. The beaches, scenic views, many points of interest, sports, activities, and very friendly people. On the west coast of Barbados, the many prized beaches are quiet as a mill pond, but on the east side of the island, they're wild and foamy. The low mountains that edge most of the eastern shore fall to rolling hills in the island interior where endless fields of sugarcane tower over the country roads. Throughout the island, many colonial buildings, reminders of centuries of British rule, still remain in good repair and open to the public thanks to the Barbados National Trust. Hundreds of miles of narrow twisting roads lace the island, connecting settlements with names like Windsor, Six Cross Roads, and Plumtree into what seems like one large island village. The British ruled Barbados until 1966, and the traditions remain strong. The people of Barbados are among the friendliest and most helpful anywhere. The Ministry of Tourism is well organized, and much is done to aid visitors in planning tours and activities. To view the island, there are several tour operators who will take you on 3 to 6 hour excursions. For about the same amount, 3 people can share a taxi for a private tour. If you're more adventuresome and have a good navigational sense, rent a car and tour the island yourself. There are many points of interest. Starting in the northern part, there's a grand overlook at Farley Hill. Nearby, Nicholas Abbey Plantation is a finely preserved colonial manor house you can tour, one of the very few remaining examples of Jacobean architecture in the Western Hemisphere. Further on, Cherry Hill offers a beautiful view of the windy eastern shore as the road drops past the old Morgan Lewis windmill and onto the East Coast Road. Swing up Chalky Mount to the potteries, and you can watch the island potters ply their trade. The East Coast beaches are wonderfully wild, though a bit dangerous for swimming in many areas. Smoothly curling waves at Bathsheba attract surfers from around the world. Nearby, there's a good place to stop for refreshment, the Atlantis Hotel. The Plantation House at Sunbury is a pleasant stop also. There are many antiques on view, and horseback riding is available. As you head north, be sure to swing by Gun Hill, a beautifully restored signal station with a commanding view of the countryside and the stone lion carved by an Englishman in the late 19th century. Further on, the well-organized and comfortable tours through the yawning caverns of Harrison's Cave should be high on your list of activities. The busy commerce center of Bridgetown is worth a brief tour, and here you'll find much duty-free shopping. Almost all water sports are available all along the quiet west coast of Barbados, and there are several popular day cruises as well. Barbados is a very sports-oriented country. You'll find an abundance of tennis, racquetball, squash, and cricket facilities, as well as golf. There are over 100 places to stay on Barbados. Numerous luxury hotels line the west and south coasts. In Holetown, Sandy Lane Hotel is the premier place of established elegance. Bright rooms overlook one of the best beaches on Barbados, where full water sports are offered. The pool is set back amidst the finely trimmed grounds, and for golfers, there's the adjacent and very nice Sandy Lane Hotel Golf Club. Glitter Bay's high-rise terraced balconies overlook the beach or a broad lawn and fountain gardens. All the rooms in this hotel are suites. The restaurant here is very good. and the pool and beach are attractive too. South of Bridgetown, Casuarina is a bargain-priced beachside hotel that has all the basic amenities. Some of the rooms look through tall pines to the beach, while most have garden or pool views. The broad beach and beachside lawn are what make this place most attractive. Southern Palms is another less expensive hotel that seems more popular with the younger set. Villas ramble close together on either side of the main hotel along the long beach. On the southern shore, some 40 minutes from Bridgetown, Crane Beach Hotel has a dramatic setting. The surf limits the types of water sports available here, but this is a popular getaway, far from the bustle of the rest of the island. There are 4 deluxe rooms that are quite unique. The other rooms are standard. Far to the southeast, Sam Lord's Castle is an historic landmark that's been converted into the centerpiece of this Marriott resort. Deluxe rooms are available in the castle itself, while standard rooms make up the greater part of what is a comfortably typical Marriott hotel. Small, inexpensive hotels dot the West Coast, along with many guest houses and apartments. There are several fine restaurants on the island and plenty of good nightlife, especially south of Bridgetown. In Barbados, you will never run out of things to do or places to visit, unless you want to. Cancun was the playground for the Mayan Indians hundreds of years ago, and in the last 10 years, the once sleepy fishing village has re-emerged as the premier Mexican vacation resort. Cancun is a mix of natural beauty, modern luxurious hotels, well-organized activities, and a feeling that everyone thoroughly enjoys being a part of it all. And with the devaluation of the peso, though not as inexpensive as nearby Cozumel, Cancun is a vacation bargain. Beautiful beaches line the outside of this narrow 14-mile-long island that stretches out eastward from the mainland at Cancun City and then bends sharply south. On the north side, the water is quite calm and shallow, ideal for windsurfing and snorkeling. The east side is a wide, powdery expanse with rolling surf that stretches for 7 miles along the Gulf of Mexico. It's one of the most beautiful beaches in the Caribbean. The southern end of this strand is undeveloped, a nice spot for a private interlude. On the backside of the island, the glassy waters of the large lagoon are ideal for water skiing and jet skiing. Cancun seems like a Caribbean Disney World. The broad roadway through the island is decorated with large Mayan statues and sculpted hedges. With the modern road design, there are no stoplights needed throughout this bustling resort. There are numerous well-organized activities, trips, and tours that add a wonderful dimension to a vacation in Cancun. Romantic moonlight cruises and amphibious airplane sightseeing tours are a few of the activities in addition to full water sports. There's an excellent Robert Trent Jones designed golf course that has incorporated a Mayan ruin as one of its many hazards. Well-designed jogging paths run through the northern leg of the island all the way to Cancun City. Here, modern shopping malls along broad boulevards offer many fine choices in duty-free perfumes, clothing, jewelry, and the like. This is a good place to buy some of the unique jewelry pieces carved from the black coral that is harvested in Cozumel. Inexpensive small hotels throughout Cancun City are half the price of the beach resorts. The superb bus system makes getting to the beaches often easier than taking a cab. It would be a mistake to visit Cancun and not spend at least a day touring the exquisite Mayan ruins that dot the Yucatan. One-day trips can be made to visit Chichen Itza, the largest and most dramatic remains of the Mayan culture. And you'll pass through villages and towns that convey the true flavor of Mexico. The choice of accommodations in Cancun is extensive. The Camino Real is a magnificent five-star luxury hotel placed at a prime spot on the tip of Punta Cancun. Waves crash just outside balconies of the oceanside rooms. The beach is calm in the sheltered coves on either side of the hotel. Very attractive large rooms and splendid suites with servie bar overlook the sea or pool. The service here is most attentive. The Cancun Sheraton, located on the East Beach, is a popular spot with a younger crowd. There's a Mayan ruin next to the hotel that overlooks the wide, windy beaches. The rooms are simple and comfortable. The colorful Fiesta Americana is on the quiet North Beach, ideal for water sports and close to the island shopping centers. There's always a lot going on here, and this is also a popular spot for the younger crowd. The Hyatt Regency Cancun has their trademark atrium lobby. Outdoor restaurants and a large pool area fill the grounds that run to the rocky ledges overlooking the surf-pounded beach. The rooms and amenities are what you would expect from Hyatt. Villas Takul is a unique private residential community of posh, fully equipped individual houses designed and appointed in a Spanish motif. There are 2 to 5 bedrooms. Several are on the beach, and all circle a free-form pool. Located just over the bridge from Cancun City, the Pyramid Hotel, Calinda Cancun, has simple, inexpensive rooms overlooking a quiet beach. Although not as luxurious as many of the other hotels, this is one of the best bargains on the beach. On the lagoon, Club Lagoon is a charming small cluster of unique free-form rooms. There are also a few very popular inexpensive honeymoon suites. Attractive garden walks connect the buildings, some of which edge the quiet beach. There are many good restaurants in Cancun. Chacmul is one of our favorites, a popular spot on the beach featuring gourmet food and classical music. With so much to do and such a variety of places to stay, Cancun, now more than ever, still can claim the title Playground of the Caribbean. Cozumel is the original Caribbean vacation spot in Mexico, a 30-mile-long island located about 11 miles off the Yucatan Peninsula. Cozumel is a diver's paradise. Underwater enthusiasts from around the world gather to scuba and snorkel along the spectacular reefs that lay just off the coast. Secondly, Cozumel is notable as the best bargain in the Caribbean. Especially now, with the recent devaluation of the peso, hotels, meals, and activities cost half of what you'll pay at many other popular island vacation spots. And like Cancun, the flights to Cozumel from most parts of the U.S. are relatively short and inexpensive. It's only a 1-hour flight from Miami. The remote atmosphere and natural beauty that first vacationers found here on Cozumel largely remains. Some visitors may be put off by the poorly paved streets and somewhat faded condition of Cozumel, but the divers sure don't seem to care, and neither do the bargain hunters. More than half of this flat island is uninhabited, and it's easy to find a beach hideaway on the unpopulated eastern shore, with its crashing breakers, long beaches, and sheltered coves. Stop by the restaurant at Punta Marina for a fresh lobster and good Mexican food. Right nearby, Miguel will gladly show you his bright collection of Mexican blankets. Renting a car is not necessary in Cozumel unless you really want to explore this east coast. Getting around Cozumel is best done by taxi. The fares are very reasonable. Traveling by moped is a bit risky because the roads are quite rough. On the calmer west side of the island, the large town of San Miguel sits on the water's edge and offers a variety of fashion and jewelry shops, restaurants, cafes, and inexpensive hotels. Mexican handicrafts and street merchants brighten up the street scene. This is the place to buy jewelry carved from the black coral found right off Cozumel. But don't plan on diving for this rare coral yourself. It's only found at depths greater than 300 feet. The beaches along the west coast are generally small and rocky. The best beach spot is to the south at San Francisco Beach, where there are 2 restaurants and a nice powdery stretch of sand. You can often hear a live band. This is where many of the dive boats come for lunch. Cozumel has become synonymous with great scuba diving. A dive on Palancar Reef, touted as among the world's best by Jacques Cousteau, is one of the highlights. There are several other reefs that are equally as impressive. Guided dives for all levels are available through the more than 30 dive companies and hotels. There are spots for the novice snorkeler as well. For a modest entrance fee, beginning snorkelers will enjoy the easy shoreside access to the reefs at Chacanab Park. There's a restaurant and nature walk here as well. And in the shops here, you can watch craftsmen make black coral jewelry. Deep-sea fishing charters can be arranged through a variety of operators. If you want a diversion, there are several day cruises offered. One worthy of mention is a trip to Isla Pasión on Robinson Crusoe cruises. The crew catches your food en route and cooks it for you as you relax on the quiet beach. The Mayan ruins in Cozumel are unimpressive, but worth a visit if this is your only destination in the Yucatan. The local Office of Tourism will give you locations and directions. There are many large hotels located on small, often man-made beaches north and south of San Miguel. The best value is perhaps the very attractive Hotel El Presidente, Cozumel's first deluxe resort. It remains very popular for its beachside location and close proximity to the popular reefs. Sol Caribe is one of the most popular hotels. Located across the street from the beach south of San Miguel, this hotel has a wonderful pool and many activities. A short tunnel connects the hotel to a small beach. The rooms are comfortable, but unfortunately have no balconies. Nearby, La Ceiba is a seaside monolith in nice surroundings. All rooms are ocean view. There's a beachside jacuzzi to soothe your muscles after a day of diving. Cabanas del Caribe, just north of San Miguel, is a more intimate resort where garden rooms and small cottages nestle close together. There's a small pool, and like most of the north side hotels, the beach is sand spread inside a protective rock barrier at the water's edge. Mayan Plaza is the northernmost hotel on one of the best beaches on the west side of Cozumel. High-rise rooms are comfortable with broad ocean views. The Hotel Cantarell is an inexpensive large hotel that's popular with the bargain hunting set. Small rooms are next to a broad spread of sand contained by a rock barrier at the ocean's edge. For a real inexpensive motel, there's the Divers Inn, a no-frills, somewhat primitive cluster of small domes that caters mostly to the bargain-minded diving fanatics that flock to Cozumel. There are several inexpensive hotels in downtown San Miguel that offer simple rooms and easy access to downtown. Maison San Miguel, located right on the main square, and Mary Carmen are two popular spots. The restaurants in Cozumel are adequate and generally, like the rest of Cozumel, among the most inexpensive in the Caribbean. Unlike Cancun, the drinking water here is unsafe, and you're well advised to avoid it, including ice cubes, unless purified. Exploring the spectacular underwater reefs is the main reason to visit Cozumel, and because it's the bargain of the Caribbean. Jamaica vibrates like the pulsing reggae rhythms that grew out of the many influences shaping this diverse island. Thankfully, the unrest that once drove away tourists has developed into a quiet, pragmatic determination to attract visitors. Jamaica has become, once again, a jewel of a vacation spot. Nowhere is this better seen than on the North Coast tourist areas around Montego Bay and Ocho Rios. All along this coast, mountains fall to a rugged, rocky coastline that is punctuated by broad, white sand beaches. The scenic coast road between these popular vacation spots runs along the sea, where numerous roadside entrepreneurs sell their wood carvings. Downtown Montego Bay itself remains a native enclave. There are few tourist attractions and fewer tourists. A trip into the hills here reminds you that the Jamaican people are still struggling to improve their condition. Along the touristed routes, however, there's a very different side of Jamaica. North and south of Montego Bay, you'll find many good hotels, including several of the most elegant in the Caribbean. In the middle of the moderate-priced hotel strip just east of Montego Bay, Doctor's Cave Beach is a popular public beach with a moderate entrance fee. It serves all the local hotels that do not have their own beach. Most of your time will be spent at your hotel with occasional side trips to the countryside. One of the most popular activities is rafting on the Martha Brae River, which is just south of Falmouth, some 20 miles east of Montego Bay. For a relaxing hour, you'll slowly drift along this quiet flow as your guide highlights the natural points of interest. 60 miles east of Montego Bay, Ocho Rios has a charm all its own. Small and less pressured than Montego Bay, Ocho Rios is best known for its beautiful waterfalls and exceptional collection of elegant hotels. There's a wide public beach that extends to the Americana and Sheraton hotels. Downtown, there's a large open-air market where you can watch local artisans make their goods. One of the most popular attractions in Ocho Rios is Dunn's River Falls. Starting at the base of the falls, guides lead visitors through the cascading waters, pausing for an occasional dunk or photograph. This is easier than it looks, and everyone seems to very much enjoy this scenic and exciting trek. At the top of the falls, you'll find a restaurant and many vendors selling their wood carvings. East of Ocho Rios, Prospect Plantation has one-hour guided tours through a working plantation. Many tropical plants are marked throughout the grounds, along with trees that have been planted by many famous people. There's also a nice nature walk at Shaw Park Botanical Gardens. Unless you're sequestered in one of the more exclusive hotels, prepare yourself for a constant onslaught. Salesmen, pot dealers, con artists, and street vendors often aggressively display how dependent they've become on the tourists' dollars. On the shopping side, there are definitely some nice bargains, especially in wood sculpture and native carvings. And typically, the first price you'll be given is more than twice what the seller will settle for. To tour Jamaica and not mention marijuana would be like leaving wine out of a guide to France. Ganja, or the herb as it is known to Jamaicans, is part of the culture. Younger visitors can expect to be approached frequently by young Jamaicans who capitalize on visitors' taste for the highly prized Jamaican weed. Marijuana is illegal in Jamaica, but little is actually done to stop these street dealers. The best part of Jamaica is its exceptional string of hotels where you can expect most gracious and attentive service. 5 miles east of Montego Bay, Half Moon ranks high in established elegance. One end of a beautiful cove beach is studded with many sizable rental homes and condominiums, some with a private pool. The main hotel is set at the other end of the cove where there is beachside dining and a long block of comfortable suites and rooms. Further on, a newly added cluster of chalets edge a thin strand of beach. 3 pools are sprinkled among the grounds. Nearby, the Half Moon Golf Course is a well-maintained and challenging tract with an excellent restaurant as well. About 10 miles west of Montego Bay, Trial is a sprawling hillside resort community that revolves around a grand hotel and gorgeous golf course. Large private houses are available along with 20 well-appointed rooms in the hotel. A small beach edges a delightful seaside restaurant that is a recommended resting spot if you're touring this part of the island. A working water wheel is a reminder that this area was once a sugar plantation. For the more moderate budget, Carlisle Beach Hotel is located at the east end of the Montego Bay Hotel Strip. Simple rooms and a small pool courtyard are across the street from a postage stamp beach. The service here is friendly, and there are many loyal repeat guests. Up in the hills over Montego Bay, Richmond Hill is another moderate hotel that is a popular stop for sightseers. The broad view overlooks the bustle of Montego Bay. Small blocks of colorful, individually decorated rooms are spread around the grounds. On the beach, Right next to the noisy Montego Bay airstrip, Sandals is one of 4 couples-only resorts on the Jamaican North Shore. There's lots of action going on all the time if activities are your thing. Small rooms are spread along the beach, and there's a full-service health club on the grounds. East of Ocho Rios, the Jamaica Inn has 50 rooms that cup a beautiful private cove beach. The rooms are tastefully furnished, and all rooms have small private terraces, a few of which are right on the ocean, while others have a view of the manicured grounds and the small pool. Above all, it's the service that keeps a loyal clientele returning year after year. Right nearby, the Plantation Inn is another intimate, full-service hotel. The rooms are large and very attractive. The hotel rests high on a cliff that falls to a seaside pool overlooking a thin strand of beach. You'll find the service here is very thorough and friendly. Couples is another couples-only resort which has injected classy touches to make this the most popular resort on the island. You'll find a more relaxed pace than at other couples resorts, especially on the small offshore island where there's nude bathing. The rooms have large beds and overlook the beach. Dining can be social or intimate, depending on your mood. For dining in Montego Bay, we recommend the restaurant at the Half Moon Golf Club and the beachside eatery at Trial. In Ocho Rios, the very popular Ruins restaurant has a fabulous waterfall backdrop and a wide-ranging menu. There is also good dining at all the elegant hotels. Jamaica is like an emerald, with a few flaws perhaps, but still colorful, vibrant, and a beautiful vacation spot. Key West is a colorful little island town at the very end of the Florida Keys. Dubbed the Conch Republic by the locals, Key West is one of Florida's most popular tourist spots. It's the end of the road, and at times seems like the end of the world. It's a town where anything goes, and you'll always find little surprises as you walk around the island. In Old Town Key West, colorful conch houses crowd narrow streets. Many of these houses have been carefully restored, and several have been declared state historical sites. Just about everything is within walking distance, and the lifestyle is indeed casual. Sun worshiping seems to be the major daytime activity, the Key West remedy for a late night in the bars and nightclubs. No one seems to care that most of the beaches are generally small and crowded. Key West's laid-back lifestyle is punctuated by wild weekends that have given this island a well-earned reputation as the consummate party town. Special events throughout the year attract crowds of visitors. All types of people jam the streets on the many party weekends. Shopping is extensive. Clothes, jewelry, and souvenirs are among the many items you'll find in the small shops throughout the island. Shrimping is a big business in Key West, and you'll see many shrimp boats lining the commercial docks. The Navy has several bases around Key West and generally keeps a low profile. For a quick guided tour of Key West, hop on the Old Town Trolley or take a ride in the famous Conch train. For over an hour, you'll ride around the town while your guide highlights the points of interest. The Key West Historical Society has numbered many noteworthy landmarks. If you'd like to tour on your own, the best way to get around is by bike. It's a small, flat island, and you can cover it easily in an afternoon. The main drag, Duval Street, is lined with bars and small shops. At the northern end, you'll find the Pier House, a popular and expensive hotel complex. Nearby, Sloppy Joe's Bar is an island institution. Head past Captain Tony's Bar from here, and you'll come to Mel Fisher's Treasure Museum. There are many valuable artifacts on display. The center of town has dozens of shops and several cafes. Street merchants and small food stands add a bright touch to the street scene. Just west of downtown, on the far edge of the Navy base, Fort Jefferson is part of a national park. Although the beach here is rocky, it's the most secluded on the island and popular with the locals. Near the far end of Duval Street, you'll pass the southernmost point in the United States. This is not far from Ernest Hemingway's house. Guided tours take you through the house and up to Papa Hemingway's pool house loft, where he did most of his writing. Nearby, the Lighthouse Museum has numerous military pieces on display. You can climb to the top of the lighthouse for a wide view of the island. On the southern side of the island, near the airport, Smathers Beach is the best on Key West. During the season, this is always a popular spot. Numerous beachside entrepreneurs rent water sports equipment and serve food from their colorful buses and trucks. You can rent sailboats and windsurfers as well. Parasailing is another popular activity where you get a bird's eye view of the island. There are also many other daytime activities in Key West. Deep-sea fishing charter boats line the dock at Garrison Bight. Glass-bottom boat trips, sailing charters, and sunset cruises are some of the many water activities. There's a very nice 18-hole golf course on Stock Island. Nearby, seaplanes take day trips to the secluded National Park at Fort Jefferson in Dry Tortugas, about 70 miles off Key West. Sunsets are a special time in Key West. Popular gathering spots are hotel balconies, high-rise bars, and especially Mallory Dock. Here, street performers entertain the shoulder-to-shoulder crowd. The biggest applause is saved for the moment the sun disappears. Nighttime has settled on Key West, and Key West becomes anything but settled. Music pours out of the bars on Duval Street, and spontaneous parties sprout up around the town. Key West has well earned its reputation as a party town. There are many large hotels in Key West and scores of small inns and guest houses. Close to the downtown scene, the Pier House is one of the most popular island hotels. A few of the rooms have ocean views, while most overlook the garden courtyard with its large pool. The rooms are simple and comfortable. There's a small beach and a small private area for topless bathing as well. Their seaside bar is a popular spot too. Marriott's Casa Marina, located on the south side of the island, is another popular hotel. A wide lawn edges a rocky shore. The rooms are simply furnished, and many have ocean views, and some have balconies. There's a large pool and a jacuzzi and organized activities for children. Nearby, The Reach is a new deluxe hotel. The rooms are well appointed and overlook the pool courtyard and a small private beach. Here, topless bathing is permitted. The South Beach Motel is one of the best of the more moderately priced beachside motels. A long block of rooms stretches out into the seaside shallows. The rooms are simply furnished and all have ocean views. Of the dozens of smaller guest houses, La Terrace de Marty, known as La Tida, is one of the most elegant. Conch-style architecture circles a small pool courtyard. The restaurant here is one of the best on the island. La Mer is a renovated conch house that overlooks South Beach. The rooms are large and comfortable, and a few rooms have a view of the beach. The Banyan Club is a cluster of renovated houses right near the downtown scene. There are 2 pools in a pleasant garden setting. Some of the rooms are suites, while most are standard. There are many less expensive large hotels along the crowded hotel strip as you enter Key West, and many small hotels and guest houses all over the island. Dining on Key West is extensive. You'll find several seafood raw bars, along with good Italian, Mexican, French, and street-side American cuisine. Among our favorites are the Half Shell Raw Bar near the power station on Caroline Street and Louie's Backyard near South Beach. Key West is a place to party, work on that perfect tan, and party again. It's a town that never stops. Martinique is a tropical blend of cosmopolitan and small-town French cultures. It's one of the largest islands in the West Indies, more than 35 miles long and 15 miles wide. The mountainous northern region extends all the way south to the bustling city of Fort-de-France. The plains south of Fort-de-France rise to rugged hills before once again dropping to popular Grand Saline Beach at the southern tip. The majority of visitors on Martinique are vacationing French who enjoy the familiar language, food, and customs. And topless bathing is commonplace at the beaches and hotels. Speaking French is important if you want a tour on your own beyond the limited confines of the few large hotels. The hub of all activity in Martinique is colorful Fort-de-France. More than a third of the island population lives downtown or on the crowded neighboring hillsides. Narrow streets are lined with hundreds of shops and boutiques loaded with goods, fashions, and accessories from the continent. The imposing Fort Saint-Louis overlooks the harbor where boats from around the world rest at anchor. This is where the ferry arrives that serves the large hotels across the bay at Pointe Debout. To tour Martinique, you can join one of the bilingual bus tours that visit some of the popular spots, or rent a car and tour on your own. Martinique is a big island, and you can drive all day and only see a small part of it. Dotting the shoreline on all sides of Martinique, you'll find 24 towns and fishing villages. The colorful boats and drying nets are tools of the trade of many people of Martinique. There's little sign of tourism in most of these towns. It's often even difficult to find a comfortable restaurant. Heading north out of Fort-de-France along the West Coast Road, you'll pass Carbet, where the artist Gauguin lived and painted. Further on, Saint-Pierre is built on the once thriving town of 30,000 people that was totally destroyed by a volcanic eruption of the nearby Mount Pelée back in 1902. Many of the ruins still remain. Head up into the hills from here and you'll pass by Mount Pelée itself, though often the volcanic peak is hidden in the clouds. From here, head back south through the scenic mountain pass and you'll see giant bamboo, ferns, and an occasional waterfall as the road twists down to Fort-de-France. The scenic Tartane Peninsula on the east coast is a worthwhile side trip. Traveling south out of Fort-de-France, modern highways zip you to the southern coast of St. Luce. Country roads will take you on to St. Anne, a quaint town with a pretty beach which borders Club Med. And finally, to Grand Anse des Salines, the best beach on Martinique. On the south coast, near Le Diamant, you'll pass Diamond Rock, an imposing 600-foot rock monolith used by the British as a maritime fortress to fight the French in the early 1800s. With the notable exception of the remote Grand Saline and other southernmost beaches at Le Diamant and St. Anne, most of the coast beaches on Martinique are not very exciting. Most visitors get by on the small stretches that lay between rocky outcroppings at the hotels. Among the activities on Martinique is a Robert Trent Jones seaside golf course. There's a wide range of accommodations on Martinique. The Meridian is located at the northern tip of Pointe de Boux. This is a comfortably modern hotel. It has full resort activities, including scuba diving. It also has one of the 2 casinos on the island. Simple rooms overlook the ocean and a small sheltered beach or the nearby marina. Nearby, Bakua Beach is an interesting montage of older rooms perched on a hillside and newer, smaller rooms right on the beach. This is one of the better hotel beaches on the island. There are many organized activities and the rooms are well appointed. Located a mile north of Fort-de-France, La Batelière is a multi-level high-rise resort overlooking the ocean. Paths from the pool wind down to a small cove beach. Very attractive large rooms are well appointed, and you'll find full guest services. There is a casino as well. For those who want more remote and relaxed accommodations, there are many choices. Far to the north in Bass Point, Les Ritz Plantation is a working plantation that has been carefully restored. Moderately priced rooms are appointed with antiques. There are extensive spa facilities for health and dieting. Transportation is provided to the beaches. The Latitude, located just south of Saint-Pierre, has clusters of cottages both on the beach and set back among garden walks. The rooms here are small and simple. A black sand beach is a reminder of the nearby volcanic Mount Pelée. In charming St. Anne, the small Hotel La Dunette is close to the beautiful southern beaches. Simple rooms overlook the ocean. This is one of the nicest places to experience small-town Martinique. On the east coast, just outside of Trinite, the charming Hotel Saint-Aubin is a colorful and inexpensive country inn. Simple rooms open to a wide balcony that overlooks the countryside and the ocean beyond. The main road edges the property. Speaking at least some French is required. Of the several nice small hotels in Fort-de-France, we recommend the Hotel Lafayette and Malmaison, where you'll find yourself comfortably in the middle of the downtown action. The French have elevated cooking to a delicious art, and Martinique is no exception. The many restaurants on Martinique, including those in the hotels, are very good. The French blend of cosmopolitan and Caribbean makes Martinique a unique vacation destination. Saint Barthélemy is a delightful French hideaway, very quaint and very quiet. Known to most visitors as St. Bart's, this tiny 7-square-mile island has a very European feeling to it. Time seems to pass slowly here. There are no large hotels, casinos, crowds, or organized tourist activities. An unmistakably French influence permeates St. Bart's. Most women casually doff their tops on the many nice beaches that circle the island. And there are many excellent restaurants, wine shops, and bakeries. Uncharacteristic for the Caribbean, the native population on St. Bart's is white, descendants of the original French and Swedish settlers. These islanders largely keep to their traditional ways. Their colorful, well-maintained houses dot the island's mountainous slopes. French is the main language here, but English is spoken in most hotels, shops, and restaurants. To get to St. Bart's by boat, you can either take a ferry or one of the catamarans that arrive in the port of Gustavia each morning from St. Martin. Most visitors arrive on small planes from St. Martin or St. Thomas, a white-knuckle event for even the more seasoned traveler. St. Bart's is small enough that taxis are an economical way to get around, although they're sometimes very hard to find. If you want to drive yourself, inexpensive Jeeps, known as mokes, are for rent at the airport. Most tours of St. Bart's begin in the main town of Gustavia, where colorful buildings cluster along the harbor. Shops, restaurants, and necessities stores line the narrow streets. There are duty-free bargains in jewelry, French fashions, and other luxury items. The bars here are popular early evening gathering spots. From Gustavia, the road winds up the hill to a busy crossroad where planes seem to skip by as they land at the adjacent airport. The road north from here will take you to the beautiful beach at Anse de Flamand, where you can have lunch at the popular Taiwana Beach Club. On the way, you'll pass the small settlement of Corosol. Head down the hill from the airport crossroads, and passing the airport, you'll come to the popular village of Saint-Jean, the hub of daytime tourist activities. Several good beachside restaurants, small hotels, and shops edge the quiet, white sand bay. More hotels perch on the nearby hillside above a small modern shopping center. Saint-Jean Bay is one of the island's best places for windsurfing and other water sports. Further along the coast, Lorient is a quiet collection of houses and a few small stores, a popular gathering spot for the locals. Taking the right fork at Lorient will bring you to the windy west coast at Grand Fond. Small native houses sprinkle this broad valley that falls to a rocky coast. The scenic road runs between the windswept shoreline and low stone walls that edge arid hillside meadows. As the road circles back to Lorient, turn off to Point Milou for an elevated view of the Atlantic Ocean. There are many good beaches all around St. Bart's, though some are difficult to get to. If you want a long, private beach that is easily accessible, head out to Grande Saline. While topless bathing is common, nudism is not permitted anywhere on the island. Accommodations on St. Bart's are very much in keeping with the rest of the island. Most hotels are small and distinctly unique. Reservations for the height of the winter season are often made a year ahead of time. Eden Rock juts into Saint-Jean Bay. The porch is a popular gathering place for sipping a drink and gazing out on the sea. The large sitting room here is filled with antiques. Spacious rooms overlook the bay. Right nearby, Filio Beach is a popular collection of cottages. Most of the units open to well-tended gardens, while a few edge the beach itself. There's a nice pool and a good restaurant here. The Tropical Hotel sits on a hill above Saint-Jean Bay. The rooms run along a flowered courtyard. They are small and nicely furnished. It's a simple hotel with a nice pool area that views the bay. A bit further up the hill, the Village Saint-Jean is a more deluxe cluster of housekeeping units. The suites are simply furnished. Private balconies view the bay. Perched above Lorient, Autour de Rocher is a nightclub that has 5 small rooms in the main building. 2 simple cottages sit on the windswept point. The cottage rooms are large and breezy. El Sereno Beach is just off the coast road at Anse de Grand Cul-de-Sac. "20 bright rooms with private patios circle a garden courtyard. The colorful pool is next to a long, thin beach. On the nearby peninsula, the St. Barth Warwick is a new, expensive cottage resort overlooking Grand Anse du Cul-de-Sac. Modern suites with kitchenettes, many with a private pool, complement rooms that overlook a small beach. There are many delightful homes for rent throughout the island where you can enjoy a more private stay. For details, contact Brooke at Cybart Realty in Gustavia. For the more moderate budget, you'll find small guest houses and apartments for rent throughout the island. The more than 3 dozen restaurants on St. Bart's are among the best anywhere. St. Bart's is a special little island, a touch of Europe on a Caribbean hideaway. St. John is the smallest of the U.S. Virgin Islands, less than 20 miles long. an unspoiled wilderness with many spectacular beaches. With 2/3 of the island set aside as national park, St. John is a terrific place to enjoy the natural beauty of the Caribbean. Best of all, for some travelers, St. John is comfortably American. And in Cruz Bay, the only town, you'll be more apt to hear American jazz or rock and roll than the usual reggae of the Caribbean. And you can get a cheeseburger with fries just about everywhere. The native islanders are friendly to the polite tourist, and the numerous Americans who have settled here in the past decade are a relaxed group who are equally interested in helping visitors enjoy their stay. Cruz Bay is a 20-minute ferry ride from St. Thomas, an easy day trip for the cruise ship tourists who crowd the many picturesque shops that specialize in crafts and clothing. For visitors staying on the island, there's a more relaxed pace, time to enjoy the many simple splendors of St. John. The natural beauty, crystal clear blue waters, beaches, mountains, and lush vegetation are what a visit to St. John is all about. Touring the island can be done by taxi, but the main roads are well marked if you choose to venture out on your own by renting a moped or Jeep. The Jeeps are required for exploring the many steep, unpaved roads that take you to the more secluded spots in the island. And remember, the driving is on the left. A drive along the North Shore Road provides great views of the beautiful beaches of St. John. They're so close together that you can check them all out before choosing one for a day in the sun. There's Conneaut Bay, a semi-private resort community with one beach open to the public and offering most water sports. Hawks Nest Bay, where the local people go because it's the closest to Cruz Bay and because most tourists go elsewhere. Trunk Bay, where the tourist shuttle buses unload and an underwater snorkel park is marked off for visitors. Cinnamon Bay is the longest beach on the island and has many facilities associated with the National Park campground. Maho Bay has a unique camping area cut into a hillside overlooking the pristine water. Towards the east side of the island, you'll find the small settlement of Coral Bay. If you're in the mood for a more secluded beach, a few miles past Coral Bay, a short walk down a rutted road to Salt Pond Bay will reward you with perhaps the most secluded yet accessible beach on the island. Past this point, the roads get rough, and for the truly intrepid, a jolting Jeep ride across steep hills will take you to Lameshur Bay, where your privacy will be almost guaranteed. Throughout the island, you'll find many well-marked hiking trails, and there are several wonderfully restored ruins of ancient sugar mills, a remnant of the once thriving sugar industry. Wild goats and donkeys roam the island. Remember that these animals are wild, so keep a safe distance. Accommodations in St. John are somewhat limited. Conneaut Bay is the only true resort, an expensive community that keeps pretty much to itself. Rooms are sprinkled throughout beautifully maintained lawns and gardens, and tennis and water sports are featured activities. In town, accommodations are small guest houses or housekeeping units, like Celine's. There's an occasional hybrid, like Raintree Inn, which offers 3 spacious housekeeping units and 8 rooms with bath. The views are not much, and be prepared for the noise of cars, heavy trucks, and 2 a.m. roosters if you stay downtown. Light sleepers may want to find a spot farther up in the hills overlooking Cruz Bay, like Debert Hills Guest Apartments, offering inexpensive, simple housekeeping units. Within easy walking distance of Cruz Bay, Gallows Point offers moderately expensive modern housekeeping units with a porch view of St. Thomas. There's also a modern and comfortable restaurant. High above town, Gift Hill is a new cluster of condo rental units. Each unit has ample room, cathedral ceilings, modern kitchens, and even its own swimming pool. And the view toward St. Thomas is spectacular. A truly unique and more rustic place to stay is the Maho Bay Campgrounds, located 20 minutes outside of Cruz Bay. This 99-tent boardwalk community is largely self-sufficient and offers an inexpensive alternative. Tents are also the feature of the National Park's Cinnamon Bay Camp, along with simple rooms, all with easy access to the beach and the 10-minute shuttle bus ride to Cruz Bay. Most repeat visitors to St. John have discovered the wonderful private homes that are available throughout the island. The owners of these often impressive houses vacation in St. John for only a week or two each year. There are some real bargains in the off-season that still remain some of the best deals even in the height of the season. There are several agencies and numerous individuals in Cruz Bay who represent the homeowners and will help you get situated when you arrive. Restaurants in St. John are not numerous, but they are adequate, with our favorite being the restaurant at Mongoose Junction. Amidst a charming cluster of shops, it offers a complete menu in a relaxed, open-air atmosphere. And then there's Frank's, a local hangout featuring French fare, the place to be for Friday happy hour. The Lime Inn and the Raintree Inn. Please note that if you're planning to cook your own meals in a housekeeping unit, there are no large grocery stores on St. John. The locals go to St. Thomas to do their shopping. Nightlife is definitely small town. Most of your days will be spent on the quiet beaches of St. John, with maybe a side trip to the outer islands for an afternoon of good scuba or snorkeling, or horseback riding through the mountains. St. John is a place to relax and enjoy the beauty of the Caribbean. St. Martin is more developed and sophisticated than most Caribbean islands. It's a heavily touristed vacation spot. Politically and culturally, it's divided in two. The northern half is French, the southern half is Dutch. By long-standing agreement between these two countries, there's no formal border crossing. A simple stone marker is all you'll see as you pass from one side to the other. The Dutch side of St. Martin has an American feel to it. It's very commercial, reflecting Dutch merchant traditions. English is spoken everywhere, and most major currencies are accepted. In the Dutch capital of Philipsburg, the bustling shops offer many duty-free selections in clothes, jewelry, perfumes, and accessories. The main shopping area runs along two narrow streets, Front Street and Back Street, which run parallel to the long, narrow town beach of Great Bay. Here, several nice beachside restaurants offer views of the harbor. The French capital of Marigot offers a slower pace. Marigot is much smaller than Philipsburg and very quaint, with outdoor cafes, narrow streets, and low buildings. Shopping is not as extensive as in Philipsburg, yet the few shopping areas feature a nice selection of French fashions. On Saturday morning, people from around the island come to the colorful seaside market at Marigot to buy fresh produce. Nearby, the ferries from Anguilla unload bags of live lobsters destined for St. Martin dinner tables. There are dozens of nice beaches all around St. Martin, and topless bathing is common on the French side. If you decide to tour St. Martin, you'll not find much in the way of history or tradition. The island is modern Caribbean, where the grand old buildings seem to have been systematically replaced by the new. There are several scenic views as you drive around the island along the coast road. You'll find the road is a bit rough in spots on the French side. Most visitors use taxis or the local bus service to get from their hotels to the main towns. If you're staying in one of the more remote hotels and like to move around, you'll want to rent a car for both convenience and cost. There are several enjoyable day trips to nearby islands. Ferries leave Marigot all day long for the 30-minute trip to Anguilla, where you'll find a much more relaxed pace and long, beautiful beaches. For a truly unique experience, take a day trip to Little St. Bart's on one of the 4 catamarans that leave Philipsburg each morning and return late in the afternoon. Take the Falcon, the fastest of the fleet, and you'll have more time to spend on St. Bart's itself. If you're lucky, you might even catch a fish along the way. These swift cats are dry and safe, and St. Bart's shouldn't be missed. There are numerous places to stay on St. Martin, from large casino hotels to intimate tiny inns, and even a nudist colony. One of the nicest small hotels anywhere in the Caribbean is Oyster Pond, elegantly perched on a small, somewhat remote private peninsula on the east coast, right at the Dutch-French border. This is one of the best dining spots on the island. Well-appointed rooms with ocean view balconies surround an open-air courtyard. There's an intimate lounge and dining area. The long stretch of Dawn Beach is just a short walk away. If you want to stay in Marigot, La Résidence is a new, moderately priced, small hotel in the middle of town. Beautifully decorated rooms circle an open-air marble courtyard, and the manager here is very attentive as well. Small private dining alcoves and elegant china complement a superb cuisine. On the edge of Grand Case, the Grand Case Beach Club has a block of rooms overlooking a long, quiet beach. This is the place to stay if you want to savor the small village atmosphere of Grand Case, where you'll find many superb small French restaurants. La Samana is a deluxe resort located on the remote western shore, about 4 miles out of Marigot. 2- and 3-unit bungalows ramble along a shoreside cliff overlooking one of the best beaches on St. Martin. This is one of the most expensive resorts anywhere, with a chic clientele to match. Mullet Bay, located a mile east of the airport, is a sprawling 170-acre resort complex that circles the island's only golf course. The coast road between Marigot and Philipsburg runs through the property. Small buses shuttle guests to and from the 600 spacious condominium units that fill the grounds. There's a very nice beach here and a large lagoon where you'll find many water sports. There's a casino as well. Bordering Mullet Bay, Kupakoi Beach Hotel sits high on the cliff overlooking beautiful Kupakoi Beach. Nicely furnished rooms and suites border the cliff or overlook courtyard gardens. There's a large pool with a built-in bar. This is a popular spot for the younger set. On the east coast, over the mountains from Philipsburg, Dawn Beach is tucked in a small valley. The beach here is very nice, though too rough for most water sports. There are both beachside rooms and hillside chalets. The rooms are simply decorated. there's a large attractive pool area as well. This seems to be a popular family spot. Tucked between Juliana Airport and the beach, Mary's Boon is a delightful, inexpensive getaway. The main lodge is framed by a well-tended tropical garden. Spacious and simple rooms open to a deserted beach. The atmosphere is casual, and the long list of repeat guests indicates that the nearby jets don't spoil the relaxed island feeling. If you want to be in the middle of the crowded Phillipsburg action, the St. Martin Beach Club Hotel and Casino sits on both sides of Front Street. Rooms and suites are small yet comfortable. Some open up to the town beach. Club Orient is a remote rustic nudist colony set back from the long beach at Bay Oriental. Studio and one-bedroom housekeeping cottages are simply furnished. The atmosphere here is casual and the amenities are sparse. There's an enormous number of good restaurants on St. Martin. For the more popular spots, you're well advised to make reservations days in advance. Among our favorites are La Résidence, the Mini Club for the View in Marigot, and the very popular Oyster Pond on the East Coast. With its two cultures, dozens of beaches, wide variety of resorts, and more than 150 restaurants, St. Martin is a bustling island, chock full of choices. So that's it for The Best of the Caribbean, Volume 1. We hope you've enjoyed this guided tour and find it useful in planning your next trip to the islands. And be sure to take along the Best of the Caribbean Handbook Companion. This 130-page pocketbook follows the script of the video while adding much additional information. Maps, hotel ratings, restaurant recommendations, historical perspectives, travel tips, and personal comments. Ask for it in your local bookstore or order it directly from us. In the future, we look forward to taking you on a preview of more tropical vacation spots. The Best of the Caribbean, Volume 2. The Best of Florida, the Best of the Bahamas, and Bermuda. So until next time, I'm Kim Prince, bidding you farewell and good traveling.